Hi, Aletha here with Create Your Future, and Create Your Future is still giving away a course, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Quickly. The link is in the description box below. And also, I have courses on sale, 10% off of the price, and then my one-on-one coaching is 20% off right now. So check all of that out. The links are in the description below. Talk today about why is it taking so long to manifest some things and so easy to manifest other things. And there is a real good reason for that. Number one, the things that take a long time to manifest are things that are have very deep embedded autopilot belief systems. The scientists tell us that it takes about 25 to 30 days to build a new neural pathway in your brain, or to unlock a belief system in your subconscious mind. And that's why we talk so much about self-concept. You have to come from a self-concept that says, I'm it. I got this. I am worthy. I am valuable. I am the queen. I am the prince. I am deserving of this. And you may not even be aware that you have limiting beliefs about any subject until you go deep within yourself and check it out and ask your higher self, show me, say to yourself, show me before you go to bed at night, show me the answer to this. Show me what's missing. Show me what's blocking my manifestation. And when you do that, expect an answer, because it's really important to understand that we can manifest things very easily when we do not have some powerful attachment to it that is not working in our best interest. It's holding us back. It's like a belief system that says, I'm not worthy of this. A belief system that says, we always struggle with money. I come from a family that always has this illness. When you have those strong, powerful belief systems, or belief systems that you're not fully aware of, you do not have to go back and research the exact thing of what it is, but you do need to become aware of what you're thinking. Listen to your thoughts. Be observant of your thoughts. What are you thinking on a regular basis? When you are confronted with this situation, what story are you telling yourself? Because that's what those belief systems are. They're your story. So if you have a story that I never make enough money to cover all of my needs, or if you have a story that says I'm always alone, or a story that says I'm a secondhand rose, or so I get things that are secondhand, I never get the best, the priority, if you have stories like that, or you have stories where you make fun of yourself and joke about something or some quality of you, you're pronouncing life or death over your life. Words are so powerful. We don't even realize it. Making negative jokes about yourself is not a good thing to do. And I know for years I joked about being a secondhand rose just because it seemed like people were always giving me things and I didn't have to buy stuff. Great. I was manifesting it, but at the time I didn't understand that. It was many years ago. I liked a show called, Barbra Streisand song called Secondhand Rose. And so I just made a joke about it. But then, it wasn't all that long ago, I looked around and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm still secondhand rose. No, I don't want to be a secondhand rose. I want to be the number one rose. And so we change those belief systems. It takes like 25 to 30 days to rewrite a story that it gets locked into our neuro pathways, into our belief system in the subconscious mind, because we revert back to it so easily. It's like if you, I've heard this explanation once. Somebody is speaking in a different language than their birth language, and they do it all the time. But then some traumatic situation occurs, and immediately they revert back to their natural language, the birth language. Same thing that happens here. As soon as trauma happens, we revert back to the old programming unconsciously. We just do it. It's autopilot. And so it's really important to change that whole programming so that it's gone. You can't revert back to what does not exist. And so 25 to 30 days of being persistent in your new story, whatever it may be. The new story that I am a confident, poised, valuable person. The new story that I am always prioritized. I come first in everything. A new story that everything always works out perfectly in my favor. It's your consciousness. Why not? No one else has free will in your own quantum bubble consciousness, just you, only you. No, everyone must conform to you. Live from those states of consciousness, and that takes practice, because we are taught from little up that we're victims, that we are under the control of what's going on in that world outside of us, not inside of us, when in fact, it's the world inside of us that's actually controlling us. And so it's really important to understand that if you're struggling with manifesting something and it's taking a long time, look at what story you're telling yourself. That story is going to point you to a program that is running on autopilot, most likely a belief system that you have. And you change that. And you change that by repetition. 25 to 30 days isn't just like, okay, I recognize that I walk around thinking that I'm secondhand. No, which also says I'm not worthy, I'm not valuable enough to have things, be prioritized. So when you realize that, you'll understand that there's a lot of sub stuff going on as well. And so what you need to do then is persist. You've got to live in that story more than you are in the old. And that takes work. You just don't say, okay, I've got, from this moment on, it's 25 to 30 days. I check the calendar and I recognize this, and in the end of 30 days, I'm good to go. Well, it doesn't work like that. It's going to take rehearsal. It's going to take practice. It's going to take a concerted effort to stay in the new story, because the programming in you is powerful in that it is used to running, and it's on autopilot. And you're just going to revert back to it so easily without even recognizing it most of the time. So that's why you have to stay on top of it. You have to be aware of your thoughts. You have to be the observer of what you're thinking and saying out loud, and the stories that you're telling yourself. A situation happens, what are the thoughts that go through your mind? Are they in your favor of having and being and doing everything your heart's desiring, or are they reverting back to that old program that I'm not worthy, I'm not valuable, I'm not good enough, I'm not chosen, my family always has this illness, I'm doomed to this. If you are having those thoughts, then that's the old program. If you have those thoughts, fine. You recognize that they're there, and then you revert them, then you convert them into what you do want. You replace them with your affirmations. You go into an imaginal scene, and you live yourself in your imagination, being and having and doing whatever it is that your heart is desiring. You must rehearse it. You must imagine every day. And I've said before, imagining isn't just closing your eyes and seeing images and then feeling what that feels like to be in that world. It's not just that. You're imagining every time you speak a word, there's a picture. Whether you see the picture or not, it's an imaginal act. Every time that you write something or you journal, it's an imaginal act. And so you don't have any excuses. It's there, and it's either going to be in your favor or against you. In your favor towards what you do want, or more of the same old stuff you do not want. So it's really important to remember that 25 to 30 days to rewrite or to rebuild a neural pathway in your brain, which means it's 25 to 30 days to unlock the negative belief systems in your subconscious mind, or any belief system that is not in line with what your heart is desiring to manifest. And when you realize you're operating from an autopilot system that's in you, deeply embedded in you, and when you realize you can counter that with a new program that you want to put into place, the only way to put it into place is to deliberately let go of the old story, and every time it shows up, replace it with the new story, and then rehearse it and practice it. So as I said earlier, you can't just say, okay, 25 to 30 days, now that I know this information, I'm fine. That's not the way it works. You've got to work for it. You've got to rehearse it. You've got to practice it. You've got to drop the old and become the new. The only way to do that is rehearsal. I mean, I might be in a play and I know all the lines to the play's over, curtain shut, curtains down, whatever, and it's a new play. I just can't get on the stage with a new play with the old lines. It's not gonna work, is it? So you've got to have the new dialogue in you for this new life that you choose to experience. And when you recognize that that's going to take rehearsal, just like a play, I have to relearn my lines. I have to say them over and over again. I have to feel the nuances of the lines. There's always millions of ways you can say a specific line. What is it that I'm wanting to communicate? What is it that I'm wanting to express? What is the best way to do that? And do that with your affirmations. Do that with your imaginal scene. It doesn't have to be laborious, but it has to be. It has to be practiced, and it needs to be fun, and it needs to be taken with a concerted effort so that you put your heart and soul into it and live from that state of consciousness. And the more you do that, you're going to see that it's easier and easier to not revert back into, that you'll find yourself not reverting as easily back into the old story. And eventually, as you stay in the new story, with this rehearsal, with this practice, with this constant repetition of the new story, the old's going to fade, die, and go away. It's gone. It'll disappear. And that explains why some things are more difficult to manifest than others, because they're deeply rooted. There's a deeply rooted counter belief against what it is you're actually wanting to manifest. And change your story, you change your life. You have to do it though. You have to do it repeatedly, over and over again, so that it becomes who you are. It's a new personality. Now, instead of the old personality that didn't feel valued, loved, and adored, and felt abandoned and not chosen, now you feel loved, valued, adored within your own self. And then all that comes into you from that point on is icing on the cake. You feel valued, and then people who are going to reflect back to you that value. You feel miserable and unwanted, you're going to have those kinds of experiences reflected back to you. So stay in that new state. And in the beginning, it's going to be a constant effort of observing and countering the old story with the new story through your imagination, imaginal scenes, through your affirmations. Your affirmations are your mental diet. They are not saying, oh, please give me this. They're confirming, I already have this. That's what an affirmation is. I already am wealthy. I already have good health, perfect health. I already am with my SP. I already am chosen. Whatever it is that your heart's longing for, you live from a state of already having it. And that's how you conquer the old belief system. And that's how you build new neural pathways into your brain, by staying in the new story. I already am this. I have it now. It may not feel natural at first. It may not feel real. It may feel like you're lying to yourself, but which of the two? We know that the old story in many cases is a lie. It's not truth. We're all valuable. We're all worthy to be loved. We're all worthy of having and being and doing anything we want. So that if you have a story and you're saying you're not, that's a lie. So then I say, okay, then say the opposite and make that your new story. But you say that's a lie, it's not truth. It's only not truth because you don't see it yet in the outer world, but you see the old story in the outer world. You stick with the old story, the old lies of the outer world, and they're gonna keep coming. But if you feel like you're lying a bit when you start the new story and it's all pretense because you see nothing to support it in the 3D, don't worry about it, because the real true reality is inside of you in the moment. The external world is not anything more than a reflection of your past thoughts. Therefore, if you're gonna think you're telling yourself lies, then let's look at the lies. This lie is not good for me. This lie ultimately will be good for me. So I'm going to tell the one that is ultimately good for me. Anyway, 25 to 30 days. Stick with it. Persist. And in the new story. And eventually that feeling like it's telling a lie is going to go away because you're going to start to see evidence. And I have. experience that. We all have. Look at the times when you have manifested things and it didn't feel believable at first, but all of a sudden there it is. You got this brand new car and it seemed totally impossible, but it's in your driveway, it's in your garage. So stick with the new story and no matter what, live from that and allow yourself to create through your selection of the new story, a new life. The one your heart really desires to experience, and to feel good about you, to feel confident and valuable and worthy and healed. It's worth it, isn't it? The work for all of that. Blessings.